to another episode of Surroundscapes with Bluesound Professional. I'm Craig Cooper. I manage North America with Bluesound Professional. Today, it's I got to play zone defense because it's 2-on-1 here in the podcast. I've got Custom Channels, a great partner of ours. We've had them since we launched, honestly, and wanted to bring them on the show because we're doing more work together. They're doing more work on their own, and I'm going to toss it off to them so that they can introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about Custom Channels, and we'll get into business here.
Sure. I'm Mark Willett. I'm the head of partnerships at Custom Channels, and I'm here with.
Yeah, and I'm Joe, the CEO here at Custom Channels. And who are we? We are a music and advertising platform for tens of thousands of businesses and across the globe that need licensed music, right? And we have a platform where customers can do everything from DIY playlist creation all the way to kind of handheld and bespoke content creation, where we become an extension of a company's brand and really bring the brand to life through sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you said, Craig, we have been doing a lot of improvements in the product in terms of allowing our customers more opportunities for monetization and customization to sort of become more than just a music service, but as Joe said, a music and messaging and advertising platform that can be everything you need it to be.
As you can tell, we've been around for quite some time with the background. The business has been around for almost 30 years. I'll pick a CD off the wall. Simple Minds, Glittering Prize.
There we go.
Come from the physical media space, and the business with the dawn of streaming in the early 2000s really has kind of hit its stride.
Yeah, I was going to say Custom Channels essentially, I don't want to say invented, but pioneered streaming music for business. Back at the turn of the century, they were doing kind of what they would call side channel radio projects for commercial radio, where they didn't want their Christmas channel to be just on the antenna. They wanted to just log in and listen to it. So they came up with that. They got approached by Chipotle and Whole Foods to say, hey, can you do that for our stores? We want to stream these things. And thus Custom Channels was born out of a radio background. We obviously have evolved beyond physical media and, have entered a new world. But the sort of basic idea of tightly curated streaming music for business is still what we do. That is still the bread and butter of Custom Channels.
So, all right, that's cool. I like the transition there. What how has it changed in the last, we started working together before I started at Bluesound Pro, so probably you guys started in like 2018 with Graham. How has it changed? How do you see that, what you guys are doing and what you're focused on, how has that changed in the last, 3 or 4 years?
Well, I'll talk about the previous 3 years, and then you could talk about the last year because that's when you came on. But when we first started working with Bluesound, we were fairly rigid in terms of delivery. And, we have a proprietary piece of hardware that we use to deliver our product. And we were only really just beginning to explore smart speakers and other integrations, and still heavily relying on our own hardware. But what we have tried to do over the last few years is become hardware agnostic. And even where we're going to is channel agnostic, where we can use any hardware. If somebody's doing a really good job with business grade hardware, like Bluesound is, like, you should be using our service on that platform. And we shouldn't be so worried about our hardware when you guys are doing an awesome job of it. So a lot of what we've done over the last few years is develop, a platform that can be used anywhere. And we've only made it better. Like we are just about to relaunch on Bluesound coming up. And that's taken us a while to get there because we want it to be right. We want it to be with the right partner. And I really like what we've been doing over the last few years with you guys, because now we have a really great, let's call it a bundle, that we can offer mom and pop shops, enterprise level, and everything in between. And I don't know, it's been an exciting few years as we developed this. Joe
Yeah.
came on board in March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we, like every company, want to be and are incredibly customer focused, right? And we are responding to the needs of both our customers in the marketplace, where they want, a single place to buy. They want for some of these store or futuristic store designs, a place where they can both buy, have things delivered, and then centrally manage them in a kind of smart format, right? And allow an entire system of speakers and internet to be delivered throughout each kind of customer store, and manage them both at a central level, from this is what I want my brand to sound like, to hey, I actually want to test out potential messages or promoting a company happy hour in different regions. And so we are, and with partnering with Bluesound Professional, kind of the conduit to where a customer has a need or desire to really take what has been known as background music,
Mm-hmm.
put it into the foreground, but then even add on additional ways to engage and connect with their customers. And so, talk about the evolution. Mark touched on the company over the last few years. The next few years for us is really about interoperability.
Yeah.
Right. And, Mark mentioned the platform agnostic approach. I mean, we are the kind of platform and building for customers to be able to turn their speakers right into a sales channel, be able to schedule and put messages in their speakers and tie them to their other environments that they use to connect with customers.
Yeah.
Whether that's through an app that is maybe a loyalty branded app for a restaurant, or a loyalty program for a retailer that's point based, or when a customer walks into the store and sees an ad playing on the TV, how is it synced with the music? How is it synced with all the various touch points in stores of how customers really want to connect, and businesses ultimately want to drive repeat visits? And so our technology roadmap really is to continue to be product led and responding to the needs of the customers, where we want to continue to innovate it into where they want to grow. And Bluesound, with your API development platform and the joint customers we have together, it's a really good success mechanism.
Yeah, it's surprising me. I mean, I came from the video world, before coming to Bluesound, and so much effort was focused on video, digital signage, videos. I mean, even a few years ago, I think it's backed off a little bit, but whatever, the screen, like the cooler cabinets turned into video monitors, and the end caps for video monitors, and everything was video. But we lost the fact that there's just this nice platform that's just playing in the store that everybody kind of forgot about. And I'm really excited. I mean, obviously this is we make the hardware, so got to be kind of excited about it. But I'm also excited about it from a standpoint that these brands are actually focusing on the experience and what the audio really sounds like. Because I think at Bluesound Pro, I mean, I kind of joke around about this, but what we're trying to do is make places sound better. I mean, I want to go into a restaurant or bar, I want it to sound better. I want to go into a retail shop, and I want it to sound better. In my family, we've focused on not spending so much money online and kind of going to more retail shops, which I want them to sound good. You talked about the new platform a little bit. Do you want to go in a little bit in more detail about what customers would see there, and what their experience is like on the new platform?
Sure. So there's a couple different things that you're going to immediately see as an existing Bluesound customer using custom channels, and that's going to be, our remix product being multi-zone. It's going to be the between song messaging, and it's going to be our enhanced, we're calling it customer engagement platform, which is a really fancy way of saying our messaging platform that's got very fine detail control over the scheduling and the save schedules, the day parting, the windows when the media plays, and all the proof of play of this message played in this store on these speakers at this time. It actually played. This was the song that played before it. And so all that data will be available via API. So if you are, a customer using custom channels on Bluesound, you'll be able to know that the speakers were on, they were monitored, the music played, the message played. Here's the proof. And you can go to the races in terms of like a retail media network, or if you just want to A/B test your messaging or your music and what that all sounds like that, all that powerful stuff is now going to be just out of the box, and it's going to sound awesome on Bluesound. So
yeah, and that's a super important point, Mark, around the API public endpoint availability for really the enterprise customers that we service, that Bluesound Professional services, that have their own internal systems for doing a lot of these things, but don't want to build and operate in an external system. Now, that goes without saying. I mean, what we're talking about here, right, is readily available in our dashboard for anything from a mom and pop shop to a 100 location retailer that wants to make a foray into the retail media network space, but isn't sure which advertising network or partner to provide. Will let us be, and work with Bluesound Professional on both the picks and shovels of the infrastructure play, and Bluesound on the hardware and custom channels as the piping for both the conduit of the music and then also the media network. And really get to carve your own path with that. Is retail media networks are nothing new, right? They've been around in this space, but where we see customers really struggling is they have great retail media on their web, right, with a lot of non-endemic advertisers, but really want to bring it into in-store for those future activations, for those like moments at checkout, or when a customer hears the top song or the ad that's playing that's super hyper specialized and focused. And that's exactly what we've built here at Custom Channels.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's surprising. Well, it's always for us at Bluesound Pro. It's we have to educate a lot, right? Because what we're doing is the technology's not it's not something groundbreaking or anything like that. But where we've gotten to a space in the technology is that we can have a processor and a speaker that is probably more powerful than my laptop several years ago, right? And with that, with open API commands, you can open up so many more possibilities. It's not that we're reinventing the wheel or anything. We're just taking use of the technology that's there, and all a lot of the companies in our industry are moving to open APIs. So now you can control digital signage players and speakers, and all of this from your customer standpoint, it unlocks and opens a lot of opportunities that just weren't there with the technology just even a few years ago, which is, it's a fun space to be in. I don't consider myself to be a salesperson. I just have some cool toys that I like to play with. Hopefully other people do as well.
And I think,
go ahead, Mark.
You guys are so interested, like Custom Channels never wanted to be in the hardware business, the installation business, the like full sale, everything package business. But partnering with Bluesound allows us to get into a lot of that so easily, because your product is PoE. You don't need 70 volt to do it necessarily. They can do it, but they don't have to. It's not all that expensive for what you get, and it's monitorable, right? And so like it just ticks so many boxes where it's inexpensive, easy to install, and you can monitor its health. Like what more could we have possibly asked for in the commercial space? Like you guys have done it.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to think about the more. We think
I know, for someone like us to be able to like package that up, let's throw in the year of incredible music service on top of that. Like it's kind of impossible to ignore.
Well, I want to. We gotta talk about one topic that we'll stick in the middle here, so people can fast forward past it. Um, you know, we're still stuck in an industry which, strangely to me, is in a spot where a lot of customers just go out and play Spotify, or play Apple Music, or play YouTube Music, or play Pandora, or I could go on for a little bit here. My personal favorite's Tidal. This is not an endorsement. I just use it at home. If I had a business, though, I would pick a business music service. And that being said, explain not the, I mean, obviously briefly the what you need to be doing from a the right way to do it standpoint, but then you've mentioned some of the benefits, but maybe expand on that. Like, really, why does the average restaurant, bar, hotel, coffee shop, all these places, retail, why are they choosing a business music service over just playing their local playlist?
Sure. What many consumers, right, and probably even a lot of listeners here today don't know is that in a commercial space or business environment, anything as small as a single neighborhood coffee shop or a yoga studio to a multi-thousand location retailer or franchise, to play music in that space, you need to be licensed, right? There are 5 major licensing agencies here in the United States and 2 in Canada that will both police and endorse really the representation of artists. And that is such an important, I think, fabric of custom channels here is that, I mean, our business model and percentages of our revenue are going to artists, right, to support songwriters and singers and actually helping that industry and ecosystem. And so when a lot of business owners are not and are playing just Spotify in their business, it's illegal, right? And it's also not supporting the artist where that music has been created. And so it's obviously such a learning part and education for consumers. And I don't know if you've got anything to add there, but
I mean, I could talk all day
right.
about lots of public performance rights organizations and why we want to license this. But the short answer, Joe, is you're right. Is like, you just need a license. Whether you believe in it or not, you need to have a license. It violates Spotify's terms and conditions if you're using Spotify in your business. So Spotify doesn't like it. BMI and ASCAP don't like it. We are not that expensive, right? Like it's you can come to a business service, and for basically what you're paying for a Spotify family plan, you're going to get professionally curated music that you can build a playlist. We can build the playlists.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I like to think about it, like if you're one of the reasons why you should work with a business music service, like you're a restaurant and you're making your own playlists and you think you're doing a good job. I like to cook at home, but I would never think that I would cook in your restaurant, right? Like, it's just, I'm not a professional cook. I make really good meals for my family, but like, I'm not a professional cook. I'm sure you make wonderful playlists that sound awesome in your living room and in your car and in your earbuds, but you're just not a professional music programmer. Like, we have people, you're just not thinking about it in the way that a business music service is going to be thinking about it. Like, we think about the long listening days that you're working all shift hearing that stuff. We're thinking about the different seasons and the weather and the temperature and the new songs and the old songs and how it all fits together to make the right mix for your restaurant, and that one that you're not going to get sick of. That's like still on brand, but maximizes variety and minimizes repetition. Like, these are all things that we're thinking of as a business music service. So you can think about the freshest ingredients and what the clothes on your shelves are, and whatever else you need to think about. Turn it over to us, and for all, not that much money, we're going to do a better job than you and just take off from what you got and really enhance your environment.
Right. Owners and businesses spend so much time and money thinking about the entire ambiance of their space, right? The lights, the tables, how thick is the bench cushion in terms of table turnover, and
the
don't
toilet
sleep
paper
out
and
on
the soap
the
in the
music.
bathroom.
Every business you'll remember the last business you walked in that was dead silent, right? And can you even go from that to like having really brand identifying music that is going to really make your customer's happy, want to come back, and kind of fits the vibe of the space. I mean, that's what we do across, tons of businesses. And we could cut that part out because tons was kind of weird. But
obviously we're biased, but like I go into a store, I know right away if they're using a business service or if they're using Spotify. Like immediately I can tell. And that tells me something about that business, about what they care about, where they're spending their money. And like, where else are you cutting corners if like you're just letting anybody plug in their Spotify? And I guess that's the other piece we didn't even talk about is the control. Like, especially if you're a growing business, you don't want just anybody playing the music in your store. You want to have control over that so that when you go in there, you're not hearing whatever death metal, whatever it is that your employees want to hear. You want something. And like, if you just want a safe sandbox to play in, we can offer that to you. Like, there's no explicit music in our library. It's not a choice. There just isn't any. So if you want to have your employees design their playlist, which a lot of our customers do, you can feel safe that it's not going to be anything offensive. Or you can have complete control where they just corporate decides everything. And
so what a lot of people don't realize, and then they kind of have that aha moment when you talk about our business, right, is that every single, whether it's Mod Pizza or Veronica Beard or Kava, right, some of our favorite customers, they're playing the same branded, updated playlist that really fits the vibe of the space and really drives home that kind of subconscious element of who they are.
Yeah, playlist creation is I managed AV at casinos for 10 years probably. The number one, you guys can tell, you can answer this question before I even say the rest of it. The number one complainer of the playlist was
the employees. Yeah,
100%, because they're sitting there for 6 or 8 hours at a time, and they would be like, "Oh, I can tell you what song's coming next." And I was like, "Well, it's funny because it's randomized." So you're probably not, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We actually had a branding company come to one of the casinos. I gotta be careful here. We had a branding company come to one of the casinos, and we spent a lot of money on this branding company to create playlists for all the venues. And about a week into playing them, all the customers were complaining so much we ditched them all and had to start fresh again. So creating a playlist that you like is one thing, but all the customers like, that's a totally different vibe. Do you have a team that communicates with the customer and creates the playlists and ongoing management and that kind of thing? How does that work?
Yeah, we've got a full team of music curators, and we offer any service to any level where a customer just wants to mix together all 90s top hits and a little bit of death metal for a funky barber shop, right? You can mix those genres together and push them out. And then we have music curators that are going in and updating those catalogs, updating the sequencing, updating the build, throughout the day or schedule to, full service curation. So some of our brands, are meeting monthly with our music curators, talking about anything from, hey, we're going through a brand refresh. Can you help design a surroundscape music design for this brand refresh or for holiday and seasonal mixes, right? I mean, we're recording this podcast here right between Thanksgiving and the winter holidays. And what do you think every business is asking for and wants someone else to manage it? And that's where we come in.
Yeah, because we'll get questions like we want music that feels like Christmas music, but isn't, right? And so like somebody has to field those. And our music team is really good at fielding those questions, coming up with the right answers, putting on their consultant hats. And like they work hand in hand with account management and sales to make sure that all the customers are getting the right fit, musically speaking. But we really do, I think you mentioned at the top of the conversation, we really do want to be an extension of your marketing and branding. And whenever possible, work directly with the CMOs and the branding teams, like, oh, we've got an LTO, menu item. that we want to build a little mini playlist around, or we've got like a spring denim drop at the retail store and we want like a jeans centric playlist, whatever that happens to be. Like we want to be doing those kinds of creative things, partnering both with our customers and with the artists and labels whenever possible to kind of bring it all together.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, making playlists is tough, and we'll not even go into the making a holiday playlist because, oh boy.
It is only 12 Christmas songs.
Oh boy.
On the artist collaboration part, Craig and Mark here, like one of the favorite activations we've done this year, and you can read about it, it was during the Grateful Dead's 50-year anniversary tour, and we had a couple of retailers, one of them being Aviator Nation, who really wanted to make a big splash with a branded Deadhead playlist the weekend that they were playing in San Francisco, and play it across all their stores. And that's something that we love to make happen, and really partner with the artist and the publisher, the label, across the industry. That's what we're here to really support them, and of course make our customers happy as well.
Yeah, we're really well positioned musically speaking. Like if a customer comes to us and says, hey, we're big fans of this artist, can they do a takeover over the weekend when they have a new album coming out, or they've got a smoothie that is on the menu in our grocery store, can they have a special playlist? Like, absolutely.
Yeah, a really fun request we got from a customer recently that we're fulfilling is they want to tie in using loyalty points, right, when a customer goes into the store, with shouting out someone for their birthday that they're with, right, when they're walking the store. And so can a brand use 10 loyalty points in versus giving away 5%, can they use that as a non-monetary reward to then play the music overhead of their favorite song and a birthday shout out, and it helps them connect with their customers, right? And so we've been able to really kind of do it all, and it speaks back to the beginning of the podcast or conversation here around kind of this open API based platform that is allowing these systems to talk to each other.
We'll ask this question, but we might have already answered it. But maybe you got some more tricks up your sleeve. Like, where do you see us going in the next 3 to 5 years, and particularly AI? How is that impacting what you guys are doing and what you're delivering to your customers?
Sure. I mean, AI is impacting our business like everyone's business, right? I mean, we will always stand by the fact that people are going to want to hear the name your favorite artist, whether it's from Bob Dylan to the Beatles, and that won't go away in terms of like wanting that adherence. And so when we think about AI, it's really about improving, our internal tooling of how we service our customers through our playlists and how we work smarter as a team. And then, we've been working with a lot of folks in the label and publishing and artist representation industries to make sure that with how this pans out with AI and kind of the future of, AI generated music, which a lot of consumers can't tell the difference between, making sure that they're fairly represented and making sure that we're kind of in this kind of same ecosystem together.
Yeah. And we've had people have asked us for specifically AI generated music a lot of times because of the licensing component. For whatever reason, we are a streaming service, and Bluesound facilitates our streaming media. Sometimes people want a store and forward solution that our license is not covered for, and so they were like, "Hey, is there a way to do this with AI generated music, and then we don't have to pay PROs, because these artists don't exist?" It's something we're thinking about. We haven't really done a lot in that area. We're more interested, I think, in what you're saying of like, how can AI enhance our metadata and the way that we organize our playlists and deliver them to our customers? How can it speed up things internally, like ordering and shipping and fulfillment and all that? Like, are there ways to make improvements? But I don't know. So far I haven't heard a great AI song, but maybe it's out there.
It's all right. Yeah, there are companies that there's a couple. I won't name them, but there's a couple that that taught AI how to play the instruments.
Okay.
And I like those. Obviously, get into the legality of the ones that just dumped a bunch of songs in there and said
Yeah.
learn. Yeah, that's a totally different story. Um, we're working on some AI stuff. Just have to stay tuned to see what that is. I'm not going to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, we likewise. I mean, we have plenty of AI old feature releases that are kind of under wraps right now, and I mean, ultimately, what they're going to do is they're going to allow our customers to find what they need faster and
Yeah.
get to what they need at a better cost scale,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether they need an overhead message that doesn't need to be, production voice talent, or whether they want a playlist just that's a random 1 hour of X artists, and it kind of takes a, tangent down to like matching with multiple artists. I mean, that is, where we're going to leverage and use it. And I'm assuming with Bluesound Professional in terms of like recommendation engines and improved search for kind of really getting to our customers' needs there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I use the heck out of AI to create my own playlists, not for my business, obviously, but me personally.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have that in our kind of music curation process. I mean, we will stand by the need. If you think about non-explicit lyrics, suggestive lyrics, there's some things that we have gaps where we are using improved tooling to do so. And I mean, I'm really excited about AI in the music industry because again, my initial point is that people are always going to want to hear that artist that triggers that kind of cathartic release in your brain when you walk into a store. And that's exciting because this is what the artists have created this music for. And so will AI music exist? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, before hopefully this doesn't get fact checked, but I think it's correct. Before like the boom of social media, I'm pretty confident that the number one radio station in the U.S. was a coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
Not to name names, which we won't. Which is impressive. Like you think about how many artists probably got their start because they were played while people were sitting there, sipping a latte. Impressive. Now all the artists that are being, found on YouTube or TikTok or anything like that. So we've talked a lot about, businesses and, and what we do. Let's, just spend one question on, like dealers and integrators, right? So, a lot of dealers and integrators come to us, and us as Bluesound Pro, and all of our other friends in the AV hardware industry. What are we selling? What should we be informing these dealers and integrators so that they're not just saying to their customer, "Oh, just plug your phone in or do whatever," right? What's the I know the answer to this, but what is your guys' take on that? How do you work with the dealer network, and what are you putting in their toolbox to say, hey, this is what you need to be communicating and why?
Well, so you were talking before, Craig, about how Bluesound really wants to make spaces sound better, and we are aligned in that goal, right? You're not going to put 85 gasoline in your hot rod. If you're spending all that money on an awesome Bluesound system, it should sound, the music you're putting in should be the right music, and it should sound really good. And at Custom Channels, we really pride ourselves on our curation and delivering the best sound quality at a bandwidth that businesses can tolerate, so that it sounds really good. And for a dealer, what they're going to see is our off-the-shelf offering is awesome. It's better than anybody's, because like Joe was talking about, you can blend this all together. Classic rock in 80s, those aren't static. My programmers are going in and out of those all the time and updating them. So like you can set it and it's going to change. It's always going to be dynamic. If a customer wants something special, we can do that. Like if they want something fully custom curated, we can do that. So like the dealer can be empowered to be like, here, this is off the shelf, sounds awesome. here's something that's even better. Like if you need it, and we don't need to be. We can be involved in the dealer process as much as they want us to be.
Mm-hmm.
If they want us to be meeting with the customer, talking about the curation, talking about the music, we're happy to do it. If they just want to go and sell it, great. Go nuts and sell it. Like, we offer an extremely competitive margin on our wholesale rates for dealers and resellers. So like, if they just want to go and sell it, great. But we're also happy to go and on that journey with you to help you close the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it also unlocks, a potential recurring revenue stream for dealers, right?
Mhm.
Which has its own, learning curve of how does that work and function? How is the billing handled versus kind of just installing the hardware and other low voltage systems? But, we believe it's a very compelling offer to bundle, right? A Bluesound Professional and Custom Channels offering. And it's exactly what Mark said. I mean, how do you make a space sound with premium speakers that you're bringing into it is, by bundling and using, a premium service from both the hardware and software and music delivery side. So
yeah, we're really building our platform to be a managed service. So a dealer really should think of themselves as like the hardware sale is just the beginning of their monetization model. Like, you can be using custom channels if you want. Like, go ahead and add signage. We can integrate into that, and we can use our API and Bluesound's API to push messages across signage and speakers and monitor all and put it in one package that a dealer could be selling, and frankly making a ton of money on.
Super important point, right? Like, if you're a dealer listening to this and you're struggling with, okay, I'm doing an install for X provider and they're using this for signage, this for speakers, this for the amplifier, this service for music, and a way to connect them and intertwine them together. I mean, that is the kind of crux of what we offer. And with the platform that we've been talking about on this podcast here with Bluesound Professional, it's such an easy delivery mechanism that makes it super effortless and at a nice margin for dealers.
Yep.
I think we're done with the tough questions. Onto some
How's
softballs.
the dealer pitch?
Onto some softballs. Earbuds or some type of in-ear audio for when you're on the slopes, or audio at all.
I haven't yet found one that goes great under a helmet. If you've got,
No.
I mean, because when you factor in the helmet and the gloves, I feel like an earbud, I just lose them. It's just gone.
Oh yeah, I would yard sale earbuds in a heartbeat.
I went to the Lost and Found. I think it was Steamboat, and they just had a fishbowl full of loose earbuds.
Yeah.
I wonder how they found them in the snow, though. That's the interesting part.
I would never wear headphones while skiing.
Not safe?
Yeah, it's not safe, and it's like, well, I mean, maybe on the lift or something like that. I get that. It's so, if you don't want to chat.
But I mean, Craig, when all you do is ski out of bounds, you're safety factor.
Cutting under the fences. Mention that. Yeah, I find all the conversations on the lift so much fun, though. Like, you meet so many interesting people. Yeah, I was in Calgary. No, I was in Brighton, I think. I can't remember. No, Calgary, something like that. And my girls go to school at Edinburgh, and the person on the lift, one of them taught school at Edinburgh, and the other one actually lived just outside of Edinburgh and worked for the Royal Navy. And we were all three strangers that got on that lift, and I was like, "This is bizarre."
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Joe, you want to talk about the proposed annual snow summit?
Yeah, so we do Custom Channels does work with a lot of resorts, right? And anything from not just a ski resort, but 5-star spas to smaller bed and breakfast, and we and somewhere with Bluesound Professional, there's a huge market opportunity, and it's a difficult problem for resorts to solve in terms of playing high quality music. They also need real-time alerting and messaging, which we can deliver for, when a gondola goes down and you're stuck on it for 6 hours with the 6 people that you're talking to because you don't have headphones on. And, there's a big opportunity at the resorts and the ski resorts, and so we're going to start the Blue Channel, Bluesound Custom Channels ski resort summit right out this year, and you're going to the inaugural one, Craig, in January.
That's my goal.
And we're going to do the second annual next season, and hopefully, resorts will really catch on to the best way to make your resort sound as good as the POW.
Sure, the bottom of every lift, they've got some car trunk speaker blasting whatever the lifty feels like playing. So I feel there's an opportunity.
Well, it's tough because I don't want that to go away.
Well, they can still play the content they want. You guys, whatever. Lifties get on a little conference call with Custom Channels and create some playlists for them. Here's for lift, Chairlift 9. Here's for the Sunshine Lift. No problem.
Yep.
We're also saying this, we're looking at the mountains here in Denver, Colorado, and so it's a big part of our world. And we're excited to launch the summit.
We'll see what we can get done there.
That's something enough to just become true, or what?
I think so. Yeah, we willed it into existence.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is just about keeping pushing on until it goes your way, right? It takes years sometimes, but we'll all get there. Mm-hmm. I guess the last thing is, how do customers, how do dealers, how do people reach out to you? How do they get connected with you? How do they move forward on projects? That kind of thing.
Sure. I mean, you can head to our website. We've got a place where you can book a meeting with Mark an hour from now to calling our sales line, and there's plenty of information available there. And I mean, we'll both have our contact info, I think, linked at the end of the pod here. But I mean, that is one of our strong points. I mean, we are US based support, American made small business that's been around for 30 years and looking forward to the next 30, focused around our customers and delivery support model.
Yeah, I mean, we have human beings who pick up the phone here, so dealers can call us, or they can just go to the website, shoot us an email, however they like to work. I guess most of my dealers probably do call me, and that's fine.
Yeah. Part of my presentation, I showed the support request utility in Bluesound, which is a nice little feature. It sends a log file, blah blah blah. But I mentioned that we have dedicated support on the pro side, and then we answer phone calls and emails, and usually every single time people are like, "Oh, that's revolutionary."
It's amazing how that has gone from table stakes to now a differentiation in the market.
Yep.
Right? Just the sheer fact that you're not talking to an AI bot all the time.
We put all the support in. We're working towards this. Is putting all the support into AI, so to where we as humans can then be like, "Oh, this is the problem. Okay, cool. What were the solutions in the past?" I totally understand that, but I just don't think in the professional space. I mean, we think about all these customers that we're wanting to make their stores sound better, or their restaurants, or their bars, and then we leave them on the hook where we give them an email that's like, "Oh, we'll respond to you in 3 days," or something like that. I think our industry has lost the mark on that entirely. Personally, I think the support role is better be careful how I say this. My boss might get wind of it. I think is more important than my role, because you can get all the customers that you can possibly get, but if you don't keep them happy,
you lose one, you got to go get two, right? To get it back. And I mean, customer success is right. Adobe pioneered it in the beginning of the software age, and it's such an important model for all of our companies, really, because again, when you sell a subscription service, there's a mandate that you need to make it better and you need to service it, right? It's a little different than selling, a one-time service, right?
Yeah.
So
cool.
Well, cool, guys. I think that's all I got. Appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to the Snow Summit. Any questions for me or any parting comments?
What on the product roadmap with Bluesound Professional are you most excited about?
Some things that we haven't talked about for sure. Let me see. I mean, the thing that's really changed our space is obviously PoE speakers. I mean, they're very versatile. They're very flexible. They're great. When we made the ceiling speaker, I think that really changed our projected, our trajectory a lot, and it opens up a ton of opportunities. In having everything in a PoE speaker that you could just play custom channels directly to one speaker if you wanted to, or many. Yep. I'm really excited about that. After that, we have products that we're working on with our partnership with Mood Sonic, which is really important to us because it adds another vertical outside of background music. It's more of a biophilic soundscape, which is really important in a few different industries. But it'll be interesting to see how that takes off, and that has a couple products that are pretty cool. I think honestly, a lot of the stuff that it's going to make a difference is software. I think everybody that's heard me present, we're working on a Dante implementation, which is important in our industry and is great. I think Open AV, which is our cloud management, is done by Excite, and Excite launched Open AV, which goes back to a ton of stuff that we've talked about this whole time, which is manufacturers all putting our APIs in a standardized format and putting them in a standardized place to where us as manufacturers and content providers and dealers and specifiers, we're all can be thinking about the end goal and not what proprietary parts and pieces we have to put together to make this thing work. So that, I would say mostly on a software standpoint, Joe. I think that's where I think we're going to see our biggest, we have cool products coming and I really like them, but I think our biggest leaps are going to be in the software side.
That's great.
And, AI for sure. I think we need Open AV to do the AI things that we really want to do. And we've still got to make business cases and present them and get them approved. But I think long term, in 5 years, we'll be looking at the stuff that we're doing and we'll be like most of it with software.
Cool. Great. What has it meant to have Custom Channels and us as a partner, right? We've been working with you all for years, and talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I think you guys are great partners. I mean, obviously, I'm in North America, so it's easier for me if, when you guys expand to Europe and Latin America and places in APAC, then more stories to be told. But I came into the industry knowing a lot about background music because I've managed casinos for a long time, and it was pretty kludgy before streaming became very popular. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. Sometimes way more expensive than it should have been. Not great from a user interface standpoint. You kind of you didn't feel like you had a lot of ownership or ability to do things that you wanted to do. Now I think with your product and others, we try to be agnostic. With others in the space, there's customers can get what they want and not have to use their own playlists or things like that. They can actually get really good things, really good content, with scheduling and messaging. And if they want to do retail media, I mean, there's a lot of great partners out there, and you guys are you're on that. You're on our list, and I'm glad that you were one of the early adopters, because it's not easy to go onto a hardware platform that has zero sales, right? it took us a little bit, and we're still working on it, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Well, great. We love to hear that.
And,
thank you, Craig, for having us on. It's great chatting with you today.
It was awesome, and we'll talk to you guys later and hang out, and we'll record this bad boy.
Sounds good. Sweet.